Teen Say.
Can you guys all say Teen Say on 3? 1, 2, 3. Teen
A mother losing a child can't do anything but feel like you've done a bad job. Your job is to protect your children. And I'll always feel a certain responsibility and a certain sense that I let him down. I let him down.
911, where's your emergency?
I need to get an ambulance.
Where are you?
I'm in Boulder.
Where in Boulder? Give me an address.
080 14th Street.
1080 14th Street?
Yeah.
What's going on?
We got a guy who's passed out. He drank way too much, and we found him this morning.
Every year on America's college campuses, 700,000 kids are injured as a result of alcohol abuse, and 1,700 kids die as a result of alcohol abuse.
Okay, so he's passed out inside the house?
No, inside.
Is there an apartment number?
No, it's just a fraternity.
Okay, is he on the floor, or?
He's on the floor.
A lot of times you drink to get drunk, but you can die from it. It's that serious.
How did we as adults, or even people who work with young people, where is it that we didn't give them the message?
We're seeing an increase in binge drinking across the board with youth today.
Where is it that we didn't say, if your friend is unconscious, you need to call 911?
So you can't tell if he's breathing or not?
It doesn't look like it.
You don't think what? It doesn't look like what?
It doesn't look like he's breathing very much at all.
At all, or not very much?
Doesn't look like it at all.
I don't think parents are aware of what their kids are being asked to navigate, particularly when they go to college.
Hi, thank you for talking to us today. So, can you tell us your title? You are Jill with the Gordie Center.
Yes, I am. I actually am the Gordie's Call Coordinator for the Gordie Center for Substance Abuse Prevention here at the University of Virginia. And I started here just in December, but my history with the Gordie Center goes pretty far. I was an undergrad here at UVA from 1998 to 2002, and I worked in the office that is now the Gordie Center at that time.
Wow, have things changed much?
They have changed a lot, and they've also stayed the same. UVA is, has very long traditions, and some things are constantly going on grounds, and so in that way a lot of the things are the same, but the office itself has changed a good bit, and we're doing a lot of really wonderful things, so it's really exciting to be part of it.
Yes. So I know something that's different that you're like, oh! They now have a 3-credit class towards their curriculum.
Yes.
Is that correct?
When I was an undergrad in 1998, I came into UVA from my high school, where I was very, very involved with Mothers Against Drunk Driving and Students Against Destructive Decisions. And when I got to UVA, I discovered that there was no student-run effort to address substance abuse issues on grounds here at UVA. And I felt like that was something lacking, so I got in touch with the director of now the Gordie Center and talked with her about options and availability for students to get more involved in alcohol and drug abuse issues on grounds. And from that conversation came ADAPT, the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Team.
Wow, that's a big accomplishment.
I didn't realize, I think at the time, that it was going to keep going and grow as much as it has, and it's been really, really rewarding for me to see Kristen and Libby and the rest of the group do the wonderful things that they do on grounds still today, 17 years after I founded it.
That is phenomenal.
Yes, and when we first started, it was a very small group. We had probably 15 members, and you couldn't join as a first year because we wanted people to have some awareness about the culture here at UVA, and be sort of more immersed before they came in to adapt. And then we had weekly meetings over at the office that used to house the Gordie Center. When ADAPT first started in 1999, we had weekly meetings over in the office that housed the Gordie Center for Substance Abuse Prevention here at UVA. And in those meetings, we had 2 hours. The first hour was an educational session with our director teaching us the basics about alcohol and drug use, anything that we might need to know to help educate students, and then really delving into usage here at UVA so that we could have helpful statistics, talk about the social norms here at the university, because the perception is that people drink a lot and people may do drugs, people do a lot of things that are very, very risky, and the perception is that lots of people are doing those things. Well, in truth, it's the folks who are participating in some of those riskier behaviors tend to be higher profile because their behavior is a little bit outlandish, garners attention, and in reality, the usage is a lot lower than what you would think if you were only observing that extremely high group of people. So it was very helpful for us to learn a lot about the UVA, social norms and behaviors. So the first hour of our class was talking about educational things that we needed to know when we went out to do presentations for students at UVA, and that's still true for today's ADAPT members. They learn a lot of education about alcohol and drugs and statistics nationwide, and then also very specifically here at UVA, so that they can go out and speak to students where they are and what their experiences are and be more relatable. And one of the big things that ADAPT pushes is our social norms campaign, which is, if you walked out on a Friday night and looked around, you would probably see some drunk people, you would probably see some people doing some crazy things, and then you would possibly internalize that and think, okay, that's the norm, that's what people are doing here at UVA, when in reality, people are behaving a lot more safely than it seems if you were just to observe the more outlandish behavior. So we work a lot with trying to educate students on the norms here at UVA, which is most people are responsible users of alcohol. Most people do behave responsibly and look out for their friends.
My son chose to drink at a post-exam party, post-midterm party. That decision led to his impaired his judgment, and he got into a car with another student who was incredibly drunk. They crashed head-on into a car driven by one of my son's own instructors. She had just graduated from the school, just got a PhD from the school that the driver was going to, and was an instructor at the school my son was going to. She was one of my son's instructors. She had 5 children. She was killed instantly. My son was killed instantly. The driver was killed instantly. My son basically chose to drink and made a decision, a bad decision, that cost his life.
Hi. I want to give you a cup because ADAPT is promoting Safe Spring Break. If you sign our pledge, essentially you get this goodie bag full of stuff. Basically our pledge is saying not to drink and drive, not to be in a car with someone else who has been drinking and driving, look out for your friends, and just be an active bystander. Do you think you can do that over spring break?
Yes, definitely. Sounds so fun.
Awesome. Thanks, girl.
Tell us what program you guys are with.
We are with ADAPT, the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Team.
At what school?
UVA.
University of Virginia.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
and what year are you guys?
We're both 4th years.
And is this your first year at ADAPT?
No, this is our second.
Technically, so we both joined together in the same pledge class, so to speak. We were in the spring of our 2nd year, so this is our full 2nd year coming to a close, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main purpose of ADAPT is not to tell them not to drink. It's not abstinence, it's safe drinking.
Right. Just because we found in previous years it's not necessarily feasible, nor is it responded. Students don't take it well when we tell them not to drink, and we kind of lose interest. So
we're in college, we know people drink.
So just being more realistic and trying to get the most people to listen to us as possible. We're just talking about safe drinking habits and ways they can drink safely.
Yeah. I decided to look into ADAPT. I had heard about their campaigns and seen them on grounds and stuff like that, so I knew about them, but not that much. And then my first year, I saw many people just in really bad situations and not really knowing what to do. and I myself had no idea what to do. And so when I started hearing about ADAPT and witnessing those events, I just put them together and decided, I could be a change in that, and I wanted to know what to do in those situations. So my second year, I applied and actually got in. So now this is going on 2 years of being in it. And like Libby said too, I wish I could have joined earlier my first year, but I didn't until my second.
Gotcha. And you're doing wonderful things here. We heard about your changes. So did you ever get grief for being part of ADAPT and for preaching from peers?
Yeah, there were definitely some people who, kind of don't know that much about us and kind of tiff on us and are like, oh, ADAPT, like abstinence. And you kind of just have to take that with a grain of salt because we know what we're doing, and majority of UVA also knows that we're not an abstinence group. So there's definitely backlash and just people not understanding what we do, but that's kind of on them that they're not taking the time to know what we do. So as much as it hurts to have those people kind of not really take the time to know what we stand for, I think we're making a bigger change with the people that do know. So even with the grief that we get sometimes, it's nothing in the end.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Most of you have strong backbones, and you need that in life.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'll bet you they'd be looking for one of you if one of their friends were drunk laying on the floor.
Yeah, not knowing what to do. Exactly.
Yes. What do I do now, Kristen?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You didn't want to hear me before.
Yeah, sorry.
And especially when we hear something tragic like Gordie and like Hannah and Morgan. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's funny how those kind of stories can go in one ear and then just very, very quickly, they make a difference for a little while and everybody's changing and then right out the other ear.
Yeah, that's very true. We had some of that with Hannah Graham. It was the immediate reaction was, they were upset, they didn't know what to do, they wanted to learn more, and, we were all there for each other, and we still are, but there's definitely a lot of change that happened instantaneously after that incident. And now people, of course, still mourn Hannah Graham and are still very aware of that situation, but it definitely is, like you said, has calmed down now that time has passed and people are getting back into old habits. So we definitely have to keep doing what ADAPT does and letting them know what mixing can do, what to do if something happens.
Yeah, I don't know that she can go to
Yeah, that's right.
This is actually the mask for Margaret. Margaret was the chair of ADAPT. She passed away last year, in the fall of this year, actually. And so this mask for Margaret is being sponsored by ADAPT, and it's a run in her honor this next weekend.
You've done so much for ADAPT. Yeah. It's incredible. 16 years.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
Just amazing. Yeah.
I can't even describe to you how it felt to watch Libby and Kristen talk about their involvement with ADAPT and what ADAPT is doing now. It's just, it really is an incredible feeling to see these students carry on something that we started so long ago.
Did you ever think that what you were trying to start would...
I don't think I fully appreciated what was going to come of it. I hoped.
Is it national?
It's not. It's just here at UVA.
But a lot of people are copying it, kind of.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's peer education groups all over the country dealing with alcohol and drug issues. So, it's really just gratifying for me to see that something we started very small has grown into such a great and long-lasting program. It's hard to keep up a student group at UVA. They come and go. People have lots of, lots of passions, and then they graduate, and that passion graduates with them, and the group sort of dies down. So to have ADAPT stay for this long means, that UVA really places a value on it. The students really find something useful in what the group is doing, and the group itself wants to keep helping their fellow students make better decisions.
I'm Libby, this is Kristen. We are both interns with ADAPT this semester, and we're promoting our Savvy Fox Pledge, which will be in about 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay, and so this year we've changed up a little bit because 2 years ago the Foxfield Pledge used to say, I won't drink at Foxfield, and we realized that was just a little bit unrealistic for the student population, and we really wanted people to be keeping their pledge. So this year it's basically practicing safe drinking habits, so it's eating protein beforehand, spacing and pacing your drinks, which we all heard, essentially, and the big one is like having one drink an hour be the max to practice safe drinking. And so that's pretty much what we're promoting, and if you sign the pledge, you get a free Foxfield t-shirt, which everyone...
Yeah,
I do have that one. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so this is 2 years ago, this is last year, and then the current years will be like green. So we're going to be tabling outside of Whispering Wall the 26th and 27th, which is a little bit from now. But if you guys stop by and sign, you'll get a t-shirt and tell your friends.
Yeah, definitely.
We definitely will.
So tell us again how you started ADAPT.
Sure. In 1998, when I came to UVA, I had been very involved in high school in Mothers Against Drunk Driving and Students Against Destructive Decisions because my brother was hit by a drunk driver when I was 16. And
I knew there was a story there. I knew we had to backtrack. So your brother was hit by a car
when he was a senior at Duke University in 1996. He was hit by a drunk driver.
Was he killed?
He was not. He was injured pretty badly and lost his career in the Navy because of it, because he can't run or jump or do any of those things. So it was a huge impact on me as a 15-year-old and on our family. And then sort of drunk driving became my issue, and then MAD was also really focused at the time on preventing underage drinking, so then I got very involved in that as well and served on some youth summits for MAD and their National College Commission on underage drinking. So when I got to UVA, I was looking for something like that because that had been so much a big part of my life and what I really felt passionate about. And there wasn't anything. So I got in touch with what was then the Institute for Substance Abuse Studies here at UVA, and they were mostly like a research group, and they also ran the student athlete conference called Apple. I got in touch with the director and said, hey, I'm a student, I'm a first year, I would really love to see more student involvement around issues with alcohol and drugs. And they wrote back and said, come in, let's meet, let's talk, and that's how ADAPT started. So we did recruitment my second year and got a group going. And then it has kept going ever since, which is really great.
That's amazing. And just to give you some feedback, usually passion comes from, unfortunately, something awful happening. I'm so passionate about presenting your program and the Hayes video, Gordie's Call that you also, that you're in charge of, because my father was killed by a drunk driver when I was 13, and I watched 3 little kids' lives change dramatically. So, you know, and so yeah, it affects everybody when people make silly mistakes, unfortunately. So I think it's great you guys are trying to minimize the mistakes college kids make.
Absolutely. You know, it's really all about just helping them make better decisions with their lives. A lot of kids at this age don't really appreciate what they could potentially be causing or doing with their actions. You know, they don't have.
Look at what you've done with your actions. I mean, they could do a positive thing or a negative thing.
Right, and there's very little awareness of how much that could impact the rest of their lives. And so we're just really hoping to get some of that awareness and prevention education out there so they can make those good decisions and have a long and productive and healthy and happy life.
So the last home football game is usually a night game, and so it's just people progressively drinking all through the day. They start in the morning, it goes all night.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's a very long day of people just drinking continuously and forgetting to eat or forgetting to drink water in between. So it's called the 4th year 5th, and essentially it's where the 4th years try and kill a 5th all before the football game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so it's run, I cannot remember her name, but it's run on behalf, they do a 4th year 5K instead as an alternate because of a young woman who actually passed away from alcohol poisoning doing the 4th year 5th. So the PHEs and ADAPT and some other people also sponsor this event where you run a 4th year 5K, and it's not just for 4th years, anyone can run it in just support of not really doing the 4th year 5th. And so we come out that morning and we all run it together, and usually her parents come and speak and just kind of, you know, say what it's been like for them to have that happen, and friends speak on behalf of her too. So it's a really incredible experience to just run and do that instead of trying to kill a 5th by yourself. Yeah, and some people do it together, so it's not just one person trying to do that all, but it's definitely a high drinking risk problem on that day specifically.
So you have t-shirts that say, what do they say?
Our t-shirts?
The t-shirts for the game are Remember the Game?
Yeah, Remember the Game.
Remember the last game?
Remember the last game. Yeah, we have it on our back. We have the logo like this for the A because it's usually up with the V, but on the back it says Remember the Game.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's in promotion, obviously, because, it's our last, as fourth years, it's the last game for them to really go out. And as much as you want to have fun and drink, but you need to be safe. And we do want to remember the game because that's the whole point.
Yeah, and they don't want to be a statistic and not have any more games in their future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or their kids' games someday, right?
Yeah, so it's huge, and it's huge to see people wearing those shirts that say "Remember the Game."
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a really incredible experience, especially just at the event itself for the fourth year 5K, to hear the young women's parents speak and just, say what it means to them to have people there running the 5K is just a really cool experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have all these parents doing these foundations and different organizations that hopefully college students and high school students will slow down, because we have Gordie's Call, we have,
this
Help
happens
Save
everywhere.
the Next Girl from Virginia Tech. I don't know if you remember Morgan Harrington.
Yeah.
So, wow, no more foundations set up for students that have passed away.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a good goal to work towards. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, happy to.
Good morning, DMV. I'm Marianne. Welcome to Teen Say. Today, I have the CEO of Drunk Mode, Joshua Anton, with us. Thanks for being here, Josh.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this app. This sounds incredible. I'm going to roll a video real quick, if you don't mind,
Sure,
to see what this is all about.
That sounds
and then we'll
good.
get to it.
All right, awesome.
Hi, I'm Drunk Mode, and I'm your new best friend when you go out. You don't want me to be your new best friend? Well, too bad. You may be wondering, when do we hang out? Oh, Drunk Mode. Shut up, Jimmy. Find My Drunk features a real-time location finder so you know when and where your friends are drinking. You start to invite people over for your pregame, and then, before you know it, your pregame is a boom. Then comes that time when some wise ass says, yo, let's go to the bars. Stop calling your ex when you're intoxicated. Didn't work the last 3 times you did it, why would it work now? Yeah, you heard me. I hide your selected block contacts while drunk mode is on. What? Can't remember where you went last night? Why don't you check your breadcrumbs? With the breadcrumbs feature, you're able to trace your steps from the night before. Morning, Jimbo. So download Drunk Mode for your iOS or Android device. Do it now. What? You don't want to hang out with me? Attaboy, Jimbo!
Wow. So was that app out before Hannah Graham disappeared?
No, so actually, kind of the story of Drunk Mode is that I went to Northern Virginia Community College and then transferred to UVA in 2012. I had a girl that I had a huge crush on that drunk dialed me at the block party at UVA.
Oh, no. Did she say good things?
Yeah, you could say that. So it was the classic.
A story to tell there.
Definitely
but we
a story.
won't pry.
Definitely a story.
Okay.
And so she had drunk dialed me, and I really wanted to build an app at UVA, and I was like, this is actually a good idea. So let me go and talk to 100 people, and let me see, hey,
Wait, a good idea
for an app.
Oh,
so
drunk people can call you or not call you?
Not call you, not drunk dial you.
Okay, so you don't call that crazy ex and say things you shouldn't say, or
exactly. And so
a crazy ex doesn't call you,
or just your ex, they don't even have to be crazy in that matter. So it was interesting. So I went into Alderman Library and Clements Library, and I basically said to about 100 people, hey, would you download an app that stops you from drunk dialing your friends? And 80% of them said, yes, I would, or I have a friend that knows that could use an app like that. And I spent about 7 months trying to figure out how to build an app like Drunk Mode. And we released it in April of 2013, just a fun school project. And in the first week, we got about 700 downloads. In the first 8 months, 10,000 users.
Wow.
And then we made the app free.
They really liked that app.
They really did. And all we did was post in Facebook groups around the country. It was just a naturally viral app. And it was just literally at that time a button that you just turned on and blocked the contact, and it basically hid it from the phone. Drunk Mode now, 2.5 years later, has kind of grown into something that I never would have thought. Where Drunk Mode is now is not what I thought it would be 2.5 years ago. The UVA has an entrepreneurship capstone where you basically kind of take an idea or a project for that class, and they, for 16 weeks, help you develop the idea And if you want to work on it after college, they basically prepare you for that. And that was why I chose UVA over Georgetown for that specific program.
Wow.
And so Drunk Mode, we started working on a feature in February of 2014 called Find My Drunk. And the teachers had the class vote basically which feature was better, Hotspots, which was something we're building now, and Find My Drunk, which was the ability to make sure you don't lose your friends when you're intoxicated. And there was an incident happened in Charlottesville where a person was hit by a train because they walked off drunkenly. And so it was really sad and just not a great situation. And it had been really recent for people at UVA. And they said, you know what, if that guy had that app, their friends would have been able to walk out of the bar and know, hey, that's where my friend is. Let me go get them before something crazy happens.
I mean, that's crazy, yeah, before he gets hit by a train. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in April of 2014, we had launched that app and that feature in Drunk Mode, and it basically took off. Within 2 months, we went from 10 to 25,000 users. Double.
So that's where it says find my drunk friends.
Yes, exactly.
Find my drunk. Okay.
So. And now a year later, we're at about 1 million users. We had about.
But that wasn't around when Hannah Graham.
It was around when Hannah Graham actually. Before that feature was released in April of 2014.
Okay.
And Hannah Graham, that happened in September of 2014. So that app actually had been out, and at that time we had about 50,000 users.
Oh, it's unfortunate she didn't have it, because when we were talking about her and Morgan Harrington, the other unfortunate abduction that happened in Charlottesville, both intoxicated, very sad. Being a mom with teenagers, I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I really like the app for that reason, the safety aspect of it. And I know it's a cool app because you have the hotspot, you have the chat from the hotspot. So I'm gonna let you tell us more about that. But how could that have changed? I mean, we talked about the length of time it took for them to start tracking Hannah. Tell us a little about that and what you were saying last night.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't believe that any safety app can really prevent the situation, because there's so many circumstances that can happen to lead up to what happened with Hannah Graham.
Of course.
But there are a lot of things that you can do to reduce that risk. And for us, like, we Find My Drunk friends, right? If she had her friend on Drunk Mode, her friend would be able to open up her Drunk Mode map and say, hey, that's where my friend is. Let's go find them.
And she said she was lost.
Exactly. And even if she had dropped her phone, right? They would have, the time that I think what Jesse Matthews had met with Hannah Graham, that was in the restaurant. He would have dropped the phone in the restaurant, and at least you would have known from her breadcrumbs and her friend seeing where she was that was the last place she was seen. If you think about that case, it took quite a bit of time to even get to that point. And so we're working with a company in Colorado. The story of this company, it was a couple. Something had happened, and the wife had slipped and fell, and her kid who was in the stroller basically tipped over, and she was so worried. Like, she luckily picked herself up, and she had slipped on black ice. And her whole reason for building the fabric system was, God forbid something happened to me or my kid, I didn't have anyone I could call. There was no one I could contact, and I don't know what I would have done had I not been able to pick myself up and get my kid to safety and everything like that. And so they built the system where they can work with our breadcrumbs feature, which is how we basically allow users to see exactly where they went last night, sort of 24-hour location history. And if someone went missing in a college town, their breadcrumbs will be pushed to everyone in a 3 to 5 mile radius. And at almost all colleges across the country, we have at least 100 to as much as 2,000 students using us, or about 2.5% to 10% of a university. And so even if you have 100 people getting those breadcrumbs, that 24-hour location, you can reduce the time that someone that basically answers the question, where was this person seen last, instead of 3 days, within 6 to 12 hours. And that time, not saying that could save someone's life.
Well, it could. If they don't kill them right away and they have them.
Exactly. The first 24 hours is really critical.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is make safety convenient, but also target the demographic that are least likely to download a safety app. We understand that our users drink. We understand that our users go crazy, and that's fine. We're not trying to change that behavior, but we're trying to give them a safety toolkit or a safe mode, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
For when they need it, those tools are readily available when they're in that situation, when they're not thinking about safety. But when it happens, they have those systems available. And most safety apps in the market really target the people who are thinking about safety. But there's a wide swath of users who don't think about safety every single night. And that's where we see ourselves kind of solving as a ways for when you go out. That makes sense?
Yes, for sure. We just did a piece on, we'd like to put a little of this piece in there on college binge drinking. In fact, the movie, the Gordie Foundation is at UVA. So I guess UVA generates these great foundations. Unfortunately, though, Gordie's story is from, 9 or 10 years ago, and things haven't changed. People are still binge drinking at college. But yet, we sat with a board that told college students, or told high school students why they shouldn't drink in college and all the horrors and how to get out of drinking and so forth, and they should stand their ground. But we know that the majority, or not the majority, but some, will go and drink at college. Some will even binge drink. And in the binge drinking aspect, I guess we can't help them unless they get lost. Because if they OD on alcohol, they OD on alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? So, but if they get lost, we can find them with breadcrumb, with Find My Drunk Friends and so forth. So from the data that you've seen, can you tell us how many underage people are using,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
drunk
going to
mode?
be just honest and realistic. Like, people are going to drink, right? And at the end of the day, like, we're trying to prevent them from the consequences that could happen when they drink. We can't, unfortunately, prevent alcoholic poisoning, but we can prevent, people getting home safely for a Find a Ride feature. So with drunk mode, right, I would say about 30 to 40% of our users are easily underage. Even if they're not lying, even if they're saying they're overage on our app, we kind of know from different data that they are. And it's fine. Like, we know this. We don't do anything in our app to actually sell alcohol to people or anything like that. We haven't even partnered with alcohol brands at this point.
I think it's great that they're using it, even if they're underage.
I think it is, yeah.
The majority of people that are drinking are under 21.
Yeah, and juniors and seniors in high school and first and second years of college. And these people
And
are
then they
most
kind of grow
vulnerable.
up and then they've just hit drinking age.
Yeah, and then they still use it for the safety components. They grew up with drunk mode, but they're not, there's like those people, the people who are juniors and senior year of high school, right? The people who are going to beach week. The first and second years who are going to spring break and their first semester and they binge drink, but they don't know how to handle themselves. Those are the people who are most at risk, right? Those are the people who are not going to use a traditional safety app. And I would say that's about 1 in 4 college students, right? And easily 1 in 4 high school students, at least 25%, if not a little bit more, right? I'd like to say maybe 40. Right? But here's the deal, right? Think of the times, if you can prevent someone from losing their friend and enable their friend to keep them safe, you prevent a good amount of situations that may put your kid at risk as a parent. If you can basically find a ride by catching an Uber directly to a friend or being able to catch a ride home, right, via our app and having it really simple where you don't even have to think about it, you just click 3 buttons and that location plugs in the Uber, that prevents you from drunk driving. Right? That reduces the convenience, right, for you to not drive your car and to drive and to take an Uber home, right? And finally, with our
So
fabric,
MAD should love those facts.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then with our Fabric system, they and we're partnering with other safety partners too, but specifically with Fabric, right? They allow us to get a really cool technology that's integrated into into drunk mode, a traditional party app, where someone goes missing, the really crazy consequences, their breadcrumbs gets pushed to everyone in a 3 to 5 mile radius that has drunk mode, and we already have over 1 million folks who have installed it. And also with Fabric, we're releasing a feature called Home Base, so it will actually passively alert you when your friends get home safely. Right? And those features are releasing in December. And that's how I think that's for the target market that we're targeting, right? The people who do binge drink, the people that Mothers Against Drunk Driving are trying to talk to. Telling them not to do something isn't going to help the situation. Sometimes they're going to have to learn on their own. I'm 24. I've been through the School of Hard Knocks, most of our team, right? It's between the 20 and 24-year-old age. We know because we are in college or have been in college just a year or two ago. And so by giving them the tools, a safe mode, a safety toolkit to be safe, well, you're not telling them to be safe. Actually, you're selling an app called Drunk Mode, and they're just kind of using it for those purposes, whether directly or indirectly. You're in some ways just preventing the type of situation that could happen if someone does binge drink. And it's a different way. It's being a preventative. I think the UK Telegraph called us a condom for your phone. And I think that's a really accurate way of saying it. We're not saying, just like a condom, we're not saying don't have sex. We know it's going to happen. Just like in high school, they said they go and do the sex education classes. But we know people are going to do it. We just want to prevent people from the consequences that could happen if you're not thinking about what the consequences are.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And I mean, Hannah Graham's name is just all over the place in Virginia. And I have to say, there's a lot of moms, unfortunately, that use her name and say, you know, don't get lost tonight, please. You know, we want to know where you are. So I know that I don't want to tell my children to go out and drink, but if they're going to drink, I definitely want them to be safe. So I agree. Wow. Yeah, I'm just, it's amazing. So tell us about the cool part of the app, the hotspot.
Yeah, so, you know, and I probably should explain kind of what our app does, right? So it does 4 things presently. It stops you from drunk dialing your friends, where you basically, it gives you math questions when you're drunk to unlock a contact. So you don't contact your ex-girlfriend or your ex-boyfriend or your boss or maybe even your parents when you're drunk, right?
Okay.
We allow you to,
parents want you to contact them, but go ahead.
Sure. You can still call emergency numbers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But Find My Drunk, so you basically mutually add your friends that want to be tracked. So it could be your parents. We actually have 13, about 1 in 8 users are over 26, and they are parents basically, where the kid has communicated, right, with their parent that, hey, I want you to keep track of me to make sure I'm safe.
Right.
And they've added their parents on drunk mode.
Right, makes sense.
Breadcrumbs, similar to, you know,
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel, right?
Leave our little trail.
Exactly. So, you know, back in the, you know, fairy tale where they leave their trail of breadcrumbs throughout the forest, similar to when you go out, we show you exactly where you went last night and what time you were at a place. So if you lose your keys or your wallet, basically, we, you know, stop you, we allow you to see where you went last night. And then we also allow you to find a ride home, where we allow you to catch an Uber or directly to your friend or get walking directions to pick up your friend. So basically, you can keep your friend safe. In December, we're launching 2 features.
And I know that's become, not to interrupt you, Josh, but that has become very important to a lot of sororities. They have the DDs, they have, you know, and they make sure that they have a schedule for DDs. So I'm sure they could put the DDs are friends, so they'll be on the Find My Drunk friends.
Although, I mean, a good amount of our user base right now is Greek life.
Okay.
Like many organizations have used, especially, so 1 in 4 of our users use Find My Drunk. So about 25%, which is pretty accurate to our user base. And a majority of them are organizations. So, you know, people from Sigma Chi, Delta Theta, Alpha Phi. We have reps that are actually part of those sororities and fraternities that use us all the time. They've added their entire fraternity sorority on there, and they use that to keep their friends safe, but they also use it to see where their friends are when they're out partying. And that kind of leads into hotspots where you're going to be able to see how busy an area is before we ever arrive. And that's
so we don't go to a dead party. We
exactly.
go to the hotspot. How does that work?
So based on user data, we anonymize everything. We just want to basically see, hey, where are the hottest parties happening? And we know the people who download drunk mode are the ones who basically turn up or party the most, right? So at the end of the day, we basically showcase that information to our users where we just say, hey, you know, it's really red here, this heat map. So you should go to the corner at UVA, right? And that's really, that's users, we've already started testing this at UVA where we have about 5% of the 5% of the college using us. And it's a pretty popular feature there.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And then we have our fabric technology features.
Wait, with that,
Sure.
sorry, are they able to chat back and forth?
So with the hotspots feature, and this will be unlocked for everyone over spring break, you'll be able to chat with everyone in a hotspot where you can basically, so we've actually geofenced every single university based on our reps. So at UVA, for example, you have the corner, you have JPA, you have Preston, you have Grandmark Apartments, Rugby Road, which would be the fraternity row for our university, and downtown. And so everyone who's in that geofence, you have to be there. You can actually chat with everyone else who's on drunk mode at the time as well. And so you can just take a picture or text like, hey, this party over at Trinity is awesome, you guys should go. And everyone in a hotspot will get that push in that chat to basically chat with other folks.
So now I know some people are going to say, is that safe though? Can you have, I guess you have data with everybody that downloads the app?
No. So we don't showcase any public profiles. It's all just a heat map. If anyone chats, people can add them as a friend on drunk mode in a university.
So they have to be friends.
They have to be friends to see people. So like the easiest way to explain it, you know, so like think of bubbles in a map.
Okay.
Each hotspot has bubbles, so each of them are correlated between red, yellow, and blue. So
Okay.
red is basically the busiest areas,
Yeah.
and blue are the dead areas.
We don't want to go there.
Yes, exactly. But when you click those bubbles, you don't see anyone who's in that hotspot. It's just basically showing anyone who's chatting. And that's where you can basically talk to people. Think of like a message board.
Oh,
right?
okay.
But you don't see where they are. You just see that they've chatted in that hotspot. Like protecting our users and making sure they stay safe, but also helping them find the next party is really, really important. I don't know if you used the Waze app, but we consider ourselves kind of as a Waze for when you go out. Similar to the Waze app where we help you find the best traffic, right? With drunk mode, we stop you from doing regrettable mistakes. We keep you safe. And finally, we allow you to find the best party. The 3 things that you need when you go out at night.
That's true. If you're a college student, for
Exactly.
sure. If you're a mom, no.
Exactly. So, our base of users is between 17 and 26, and that's our big demographic we target.
Wow, Josh, thank you. Keep up the great work. I understand right before spring break, you're coming out with
Yeah, so we're fully launching hotspots for everyone to be available over spring break. We already have
also Fabric.
Fabric is actually coming out in December. Along with
December.
Bike Ride.
Okay.
So
have to get my facts straight.
No, it's no worries, no worries. This hasn't been publicized heavily either. Like we're still making sure we're doing beta testing.
So Fabrics will get us our Uber rides home, our walking distance home, and then the hotspots will tell us where to go.
Where to go, exactly.
Find that red spot, right?
Exactly. So you can click an area on UVA and basically be able to see that it's really busy at the corner, so that's where I should go party.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. This is great. And
thank you.
Keep up the great work for Drunk Mode.
Thank you.
You UVA students are amazing, just amazing. And I have to add, I love how the alumni takes care of the new entrepreneurs coming out. And we have friends that they only go to UVA students that are out in the world. Like, oh, he graduated from UVA, he's going to be my next doctor.
No, it's true. UVA has been amazing. We would not be able to run Drunk Mode and build it out had it not been for the support UVA's given us.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You too. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, we look forward to having you come back and join us. We're hoping to get not Hannah Graham, Morgan Harrington's parents here. They have that foundation, Save the Next Girl, and we'd love to talk to her and have you come back and talk to them as well, and hopefully the two shall meet.
Definitely, I would love that, and I'm just happy to be able to make a difference a little bit. And
a lot. Thank you so much, Josh, from all the parents out there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you teens, be safe. Till the next time.
So, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
What's the best part of college?
Spring break!
Right.
Well, I'm here in front of the camera today because our daughter Morgan was murdered here in this beautiful college town. So I want you to know that there is danger and there are predators even in beautiful surroundings. So in response, don't tremble in fear. What I want you to do is look out for one another. Use the buddy system, know your surroundings, have your cell phone on you and have it charged. It's important to be responsible for yourself. There's personal responsibility and there's also collective responsibility. If you see friends of yours in a risky situation, please intervene. If people had intervened with Morgan and Hannah, they might be with us again for this Christmas holidays. We want you to be with your parents. So look out for one another. God bless. Too.
The legal drinking age should be 18. We're gonna get it anyway.
All right, how many agree? Hi, I'm Marianne. Welcome to Teen Say. We are at the 5K Color Emotion.
Can you guys all say Team Say on 3? 1, 2, 3. All the way in the back. We're almost ready to go, okay?
Keep going, baby. Hey, I just met you. And this is crazy.